those fires broke out in homeless encampments and terrified people who live nearby. So far, 3 people have been arrested, but the Metro Arson Strike Team is requesting a 4th person be charged. Those fires burned here in Mission Valley downtown in Rancho Bernardo. On January 22nd, a brush fire broke out in Rancho Bernardo, forcing hundreds of people to evacuate as flames raced towards their homes. 66-year-old Joseph O'Connor, who was injured in the blaze, faces a felony charge of recklessly causing a fire. Investigators believe he may have inadvertently started it while cooking. Meantime, San Diego police have arrested 31-year-old Shanisha Smith for starting a fire along San Diego Mission Road on January 23rd. 2 others, 47-year-old Ricardo Agras and 44-year-old Jerry Sainfansiri, were booked on arson charges related to smaller fires in the downtown area.
As a former felony prosecutor, I've prosecuted multiple arson cases. I've also defended them as a criminal defense attorney, and they can be tricky for a number of reasons.
Legal expert Eric Faddis says, for starters, in the case of arson, it can be difficult to prove intent.
Under California law, you usually have to prove that the arson was willful and malicious. So you have to get inside the alleged arsonist's head. On top of that, this isn't something that happens in front of a big group of people. This is something that happens in secret. So there aren't a ton of witnesses.
And the evidence needed may have burned. What about restitution for the money spent on fire personnel as well as the damage itself?
The resources used do not necessarily factor into the degree of the charge. They can factor into the legal consequences through what's called restitution. So an individual who causes all of this damage may be on the hook.
But Faddis warns oftentimes that money is never paid.
Even if there's a judgment against them for $1 million, that doesn't mean that they have those assets to repay the state or individual property owners.
He says years-long prison sentences are usually reserved for those found guilty of arson in cases that cause mass destruction, great bodily injury, or death. And a person's mental state will also be a factor in determining punishment. As for these recent arrests, no trial dates have been set. Additional fires are still under investigation, including one that broke out on Friars Road near Fashion Valley Mall. The cause of the Gilman fire in La Jolla has been determined as unknown. Shanna Handy, CBS 8.